Hello, this is Cesare Greselin. So here's another date of Speak to Me. As you can see, Night of the Guitar. Hello everybody. So I would like to speak to you about the experience I had the day of Night of the Guitars. They came over to Verona, Italy, at the Palasport. It was the 12th of April, 1989, so it's 32 years ago, just about to the date. And this is the album that they recorded between England and Scotland in '88, and then they started the tour of Italy in '89. And in this album, there's Alvin Lee of 10 Years After and Steve Howe of Yes and Asia. That during the tour of Italy, they didn't agree on, or they had other things to do. So in the place of Alvin Lee and Steve Howe, they called Phil Manzanera from Roxy Music and our Italian guitarist from Naples, Pino Daniele, a great guitarist. So this is the original album. As you can see here, there's the autograph of Alvin Lee. That's another true story that I'll be talking to you about it. Steve Howe, another story when he came with Yes to Italy. And this is Andy Powell of Wishbone Ash, that he also came to Italy years ago. So that's another true story that I'll be telling you. So let's keep this in mind. Of course, this is a beautiful opening double album with beautiful photos. I took many photos that day because I contacted Blue Sky Promotion, Sergio, and I had asked him if I could come over and take some photos of the concert. And he said yes. So he gave me a pass, a backstage pass. With this, I went everywhere and stayed in from before the concert to after the concert. So I was running from one dressing room to the other, taking photos of all the musicians that were there. And they had prepared me this beautiful photo of everyone, except here you can see Steve Howe, that wasn't in Italy, and there's Alvin Lee missing here. But there's Andy Powell of Wishbone Ash, Leslie West of Mountain, Steve Hunter that I played with, Alice Cooper and Lou Reed and Peter Gabriel. And then who else is there? Oh yes, Ian Akkerman of Focus. Steve Howe, like I said, he wasn't in Italy in that tour. Randy California of Spirit, and he was the organizer of this great event. Robby Krieger of The Doors, Pete Haycock of Climax Blues Band. Oh no, hang on. That's Ted Turner of Wishbone Ash, sorry. And this is Pete Haycock of Climax Blues Band. And then they autographed the back of it. I have all the autographs here. Amazing, isn't it? There's another autograph that's on here, which is Derek Holton, the bass player and singer of Climax Blues Band. Of course, he was mentioned in the Night of the Guitar because he'd been a bass player. He was accompanying them doing the rhythm part of it. And I had seen it, and he was familiar face. And only afterwards I realized who he actually was. He played fantastically and sang fantastically too. But this is a unique concert that cannot unfortunately be repeated because, as you may know, Leslie West is not with us anymore. May he rest in peace. The same with Randy California. and also Pete Haycock. They all passed away, unfortunately. I miss them so much, but let's carry on. I had also bought the VHS then, because there wasn't DVD back then. And also this is autographed by Steve Howe and Andy Powell of Wishbone Ash. Like I said, another story that will be coming up. So I was moving from one dressing room to the other. I had records to be autographed. I was speaking to them. So I was in seventh heaven. I was on a cloud, floating around this beautiful atmosphere that, for me, it was the best concert ever. Because being a fan of guitarists, and I'm also a mediocre guitarist, very weak, but anyway. And I was walking around and took a photo of Randy, California with Pete Haycock of Climax Blues Band. Both of them, unfortunately, are not with us anymore. Also, I took a photo of Ian Akkerman of Focus. And here again, there's Randy, California. Randy, California was so funny because he must have already done the sound check. So he was playing around on the corridors of the backstage there. He had made a ball, a soccer ball kind of thing with the tape, 100-mile tape. He wrapped this, all this tape around and a big ball over them. Was playing around with the crew members. It was so funny. I looked at him and was laughing. And also in the corridors, I met Pino Daniele, the Italian guy from Naples, fantastic guitarist. And here he has the guitar of Sean that was given to him. He told me about it. Sean, the guitarist of Journey, had started then to make guitars. And he gave this to Pino Daniele as a present. As you can see, there's an autograph of Pino Daniele here. And then again, another story that will be coming up soon. I ran around, of course I had in mind Leslie West that had been to Woodstock. So this is the photo I took of Leslie West. As you here can see, all the musicians had this tile. I'll speak to you about the tile. Actually, I'll speak to you right away. Ian Akkerman played brilliantly, and he was doing a solo of one of his songs, and the high E string broke. He was, I think, doing the solo between the 5th and the 7th fret of the guitar. He didn't blink, he didn't worry. He just moved his hand down and carried on with the solo, finished the song. As he finished, the technician came out and went, he went, "What? Ready." The time of the applause between both songs, he was already ready. A real professional person. And he, during the concert, he had the towel with him and he gave it to me, threw it at me, and I still have it. So I have this towel that it was of Ian Akkerman of Focus. Anyway, running around, I had this album of Mountain, Avalanche, and Leslie West autographed it right over here. It's a bit hard to see. And Leslie West took my records and ran off. I got a fright, so I kept after him kind of thing, I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to lose my records." Instead, he went to all the other musicians, other guitarists, to show him the albums and the photos that when he was fat. He said, "See how fat I was, look how fat I was." And if you have this album, you can see Leslie West here with Mountain, and he was quite a big guy then. And his guitar looked like a toy when he came out. He came out, wow, with a wild sound, doing a fantastic solo. And his Spillenberg is the one without the headless, and the tuning is at the bridge. So he was doing the solo, and he worked his way up the neck, and he went over the neck. And he said, "Oh," he acted as if, "Hey, I haven't got the head of the guitar. It was so funny. So he autographed this Avalanche, and then he autographed Twin Peaks. It's over here, autographed by him. And like I said, he was showing the photos of him when he was a big guy to all the other guitarists. And also I had this album that's one of the latest, let's say, in the life of Mountain. Go For Your Life. This is his autograph over here. And here you can see the autograph of Mark Clark, the bass player, that I met him with Colosseum. Another story that you'll be hearing shortly. Then I went to Robby Krieger. Took a photo of Robby. Terrible photo. I don't know why it came out like this bad. I mean, all the other ones came out perfectly. But anyway, and he autographed this album of Doors. The first Door album. Here's his autograph. So this is also very dear to me. And thank you, Robby Krieger, for this kind autograph you did for me. And I went to Wishbone Ash. Of course, here's Wishbone Ash. Here you can see Ted Turner and Andy Powell. And here you can see the autograph of Andy Powell. Like I said before, he came over as Wishbone Ash without Ted Turner, and there he autographed the photo here. And I had also taken a couple of photos of him on stage while he was playing, and this is also autographed by him, and this one too. And of course, he autographed, both of them autographed the record, the first Wishbone Ash. As you can see, Ted Turner, Andy Powell. Pilgrimage, their second album, autographed by Ted Turner and Andy Powell. And the fabulous August, always autographed by both of them. And then the fourth, Wishbone Ash 4, autographed by Andy Powell and Ted Turner. So for me it was, wow, I was floating around really. I was so happy, so, I was touching the sky. Then I went to Steve Hunter. Here's Steve Hunter. And he had played with Alice Cooper and had this album, $1 Billion Baby. And here you can't see that well because here's Steve Hunter's autograph. And he also autographed the inside sleeve. Here you can see it much better, the Steve Hunter. Of course, he had also played with Lou Reed, but I didn't have his albums with me at that moment. And I'm very sad about that because I could have had many more albums autographed. But here's one of the photos I took. I did an enlargement. You can see Randy California with Robby Krieger. In the background you can see Pete Haycock. And here Phil Manzanera of Roxy Music. I had asked Sergio Blue Sky if he had a poster of Knights of the Guitars, and he didn't have one with me. He said, Cesar, I'll look if I can find one for you. It might be a bit ruined because, you know, they were all put up on the streets and all over the place for the publicity, and it might be a bit ruined. In fact, it's a bit ruined. He then sent it to me. He posted it to me. So me and Sergio, from the first time we met, have become real big friends because I liked him so much because he was bringing all the musicians that I loved. You know, other members that had been to Woodstock, like Jefferson Airplane, and he brought also Steppenwolf and many others. I'm so sad that he stopped doing the job. I wish he carried on because he helped me a lot in the past, and after that concert we really became good friends. And as you can see here, you have Phil Manzanera, Leslie West of Mountain, Randy California Spirit, Andy Powell, and here he autographed the poster when I went to see him years ago. Pete Haycock May he rest in peace. Then we have Pino Daniele that also unfortunately passed away. And here's his autograph. Robby Krieger, Ted Turner, Steve Hunter, and Akkerman. I will never get tired of thanking Sergio Blue Sky. And this was one of the best experiences, like I said before, that I ever had. And unfortunately, it's something that we cannot reproduce, because what has been done, unfortunately, cannot be repeated, because a lot of these amazing guitarists are not with us anymore. May they all rest in peace, but they will remain in our hearts with their personality and their music and their kindness, because you know, things can go well like they can not go well, and this was one of the greatest times I had. And not only I remained the whole concert under the stage, and I had the barriers behind me and all the rest of the public. So I was right there. I was like as if I was on stage. I saw every second. I enjoyed every moment of that concert. And it's remained in me always, and it always will remain in me. And even if it's past these 32 years, it seems the other day. And because when a person touches you in your heart, that remains always. It may be good, it might be bad, but this was one of the best moments I ever had. I don't know if I'll ever be able to repeat it. And so please listen to Speak to Me. And I have many other stories. Remember, I don't have to say true stories. When I say story, it means the truth. I have to thank Mirko, the fox of Artisti No Limits, that he will put this on the site, Speak to Me. And then I'll be writing also an article on Best Magazine, that there you can admire many other photos that I took of the concerts, and then it will be put on the site, so there I can add on many photos, not like on the magazine that has an amount of photos that you can put, not too many. Meanwhile, in the other site, there I can put as many photos as I wish. So there I'm going to put a lot of photos during the concert, that you guys, if you like the concert or you admire these heroes of the guitar, you can check them out. So keep on tuning into our sites of Artisti No Limits. This is Cesare Greselin. I would like to say goodbye to you and see you next time. So keep on tuning, and remember, music life.